Alright guys, today I wanted to make a video about England's starting 11 and who I feel gets into it at the moment. Obviously that could massively change between now and the World Cup in November. Um, so for me in goal, I go with Aaron Ramsdale because I know Jordan Pickford has been. Or do I go with Jordan Pickford? Because Pickford's never let England down and he's always been like a really good performer. No, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go Pickford because although Ramsdale's clearly had the better season, Pickford's not actually had a bad season for Everton. It's just he's surrounded by such poor defenders and defensive midfielders that there's not a lot he can do. Ramsdale does push him very close though, and is like a brilliant backup to have. So yeah, I'll go Pickford actually, and then I've gone with a back four of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now the reason for that is that he's just phenomenal. Like he is. I know the word generational gets thrown around, but he is the best fullback in the world, isn't he? So for me, he's got to be playing. Two centre backs. I've gone with Ben White because he's just been amazing for Arsenal this season and deserves a place in this England team, especially when you consider how poor Harry Maguire has been of late. And then alongside him, I've gone with John Stones because John Stones is one of them where he can be inconsistent at club level, but international level, he's usually been really good. So yeah, I trust him alongside Ben White as a centre back pairing. And then at left back, I've gone with Luke Shaw because I know he's been below average at Man United this season. I think I'm fair in saying that. He still performs whenever he plays for England. So I definitely have him in the starting 11. And you'll see why later on, because I've gone with two attacking fullbacks because the midfield isn't the most ultra attacking midfield. I've gone with Declan Rice and then Jordan Henderson. So the reason for that is because Declan Rice is more than a sitting midfielder, if that makes sense. And Jordan Henderson has played alongside Trent Alexander-Arnold pretty much for the entirety of Alexander-Arnold's career. So, you know, Henderson does that thing where he fills in for Trent when Trent goes forward. And also if Declan Rice goes forward, Henderson can sort of fill in that role as well. So I think he would be a very useful player in the 11. And then alongside them in midfield, I've gone with Jude Bellingham because I haven't seen him play ridiculous amounts of games, but in the few games I have seen him play, he just looks ridiculously good. Like he's one of them tall midfielders that's very elegant on the ball. Similar in a way to Pogba, but I just think he also does a bit more of the dirty work than Pogba, which, you know, is always good. So I go for him over Pogba personally. Well, Pogba's not even English, so I don't know why I'm comparing that. But obviously you've got to take into account Calvin Phillips and Mason Mount as well. They're more than capable backups for me. And then front three of Harry Kane, obviously, is the number 9. And then the two wide players. On the left, Raheem Sterling, because, I mean, he is over the past 2 years probably been England's best player. Definitely at the Euros he was our best player, I felt. I know Calvin Phillips won Player of the Year for England, but I personally think Raheem Sterling came up with moments during the tournament when the rest of the team looked a bit lost for ideas. So yeah, I've gone with him on the left, and then on the right I've gone with Bukayo Saka because he's been on fire this season. And also, I think the level of players like Jack Grealish and Jadon Sancho, like potential contenders, hasn't been the level it has been previously prior to this season. And Saka has just stepped it up a notch this season. I think you can also make a case for Phil Foden as well, but I personally, in this team, I think Saka slightly fits in better, so I've gone with him. But yeah, that's my England starting 11. Obviously, that a lot can change between now and November. Um, like for example, there's players who I thought about putting in that like a few months ago I wouldn't have even considered. Like whenever I watch Crystal Palace these days, there's two players I'm really impressed by: Mark Gehi and also Tyrick Mitchell at left back, as well as Conor Gallagher as well. He probably makes into my squad if I'm picking a squad right now. But because we haven't got the strength in depth in the left back position that we have in other positions, like when you think about it, we've got Luke Shaw and Ben Chilwell, and Ben Chilwell's been injured for ages now. Up behind them, it's probably Tyrick Mitchell's the next best option, and I do really like Mitchell. He's a different type of player to Luke Shaw. He's more defensively solid, but maybe not so good going forward. And also Gehi, for such a young defender, he is such a good leader at the back for Crystal Palace, I personally think. So he's the sort of player you want in your team as a leader, which might be the only slight problem you could raise about my defence. Like, I don't think John Stones and Ben White are typical leaders like Maguire and Gehi are, so that could possibly be a change that could be made. But other than that, I think I'm pretty happy with the squad the 11 I've picked. So yeah, there's my starting 11. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.